A woman was casually dipping her feet in the lake when suddenly 3 unicorns appeared on the shore. Hearing a noise, the woman quickly hides, and then a group of menacing hunters comes charging in. Turns out they were hunting those very unicorns. Terrified, she crouches down in the water, trembling. After waiting for half an hour, the forest finally became quiet again. As for the 3 unicorns, the hunters had already cut off their precious horns. Having grown up in the forest, Sonja was absolutely devastated. All she could do was lie across one of the unicorns and pray. From there, she followed the trail of blood, beginning a treacherous journey. 3 days later, she finally found the hunter's den. To make sure she wouldn't be discovered, she decided to leave her mount in the forest and sneak into the hunter's camp at night. Once inside, she saw one group breaking down the priceless horns, while another group was busy herding giant scorpions. Sonja was disgusted by what these hunters were doing. Just as she was about to rush out to teach them a lesson, she heard a commotion. It turned out to be the local tyrant's massive war chariot arriving on the scene. Everyone immediately fell to their knees to bow before him. Apparently, this emperor has a passion for watching beasts fight against humans. That's why he orders these hunters to capture rare and exotic creatures, and then he has their genes injected into humans. This lion-headed guard next to him is the emperor's favorite creation. Sonja couldn't stand seeing these creatures used as tools for the emperor's amusement, so under the cover of a dark night, she snuck into the prison to free them. But out of nowhere, a sharp sword appeared right behind her. The two of them didn't exchange a single word before starting to fight. The white-haired woman looked fragile, but she was incredibly fierce. Turns out, she was also one of the human-beast hybrids. Sonja could barely get an upper hand against her. Their intense fight quickly drew a crowd, and everyone wanted to see who would survive in a fight between a modified human and a normal one. Just then, Sonja's mount suddenly appeared, but just as she was about to escape, the lion-headed guard knocked her out with a single punch. When she woke up, she was completely tied up. The lion-headed guard interrogated her with a branding iron, but Sonja was incredibly resilient and didn't seem to fear the pain. The emperor saw her as a prime candidate, thinking she was perfectly built to be transformed into one of his beast warriors. After that, she was thrown into the emperor's iron cage. They traveled for days and nights, and finally arrived at the castle. Having grown up in the mountains, Sonja was in complete awe of the massive structure, but she was in no mood to admire the view because she saw soldiers whipping her mount. Seeing her good friend being abused, she completely snapped. With a furious roar, she unleashed an incredible burst of strength. A soldier was nearly choked to death by her before the others managed to shove her back into the iron cage. She was then taken to a giant pit and locked away. Everyone who was brought to this place is to be transformed into a beast warrior. The pit itself was so heavily guarded, not even a mosquito could get out, so everyone else had just silently accepted their fate. But Sonja had no intention of becoming a cold-blooded beast warrior. That night, she began climbing the steep cliff face, trying to escape. The other people in the pit were surprisingly calm, just sitting back and watching the show. That's because at the entrance, several giant guards, each of them several meters tall, were standing watch. It seemed like everyone already knew how it would end, and just as expected, Sonja was quickly captured and dragged back down into the pit. The very next day, a blacksmith custom made a suit of indestructible armor just for Sonja. At first, she didn't want to wear the crude thing, but to stay alive, she put on the armor. The moment she stepped into the massive arena, the crowd just erupted in cheers for her. But facing the roaring crowd, Sonja simply tossed her shield to the ground. The emperor, respecting her warrior spirit, ordered his archers to kill the other female gladiator. That single act completely unleashed the beast inside Sonja. She grabbed a dagger and took out several soldiers, but the emperor, instead of getting angry, actually started applauding this fierce woman. That night, she was locked back in the iron cage. She had now become the most sought-after female gladiator, and next up, she would have to